Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Mahmoud Al-Odeh, another video for operations planning and control. In this video, I'll be talking about strategic capacity planning and what we need to do to meet the demand. First of all, let's go ahead and define capacity. What is a capacity? The capacity is the upper limit or the ceiling on the load that an operating unit can handle. So basically, we're saying, okay, what is your capacity? We're asking you how many units you can produce or how many customer you can serve. So we need to know what are your capability of handling. And this is, of course, it will be depending on the equipment, the space, and the employee skills as well. The goal for capacity planning is to achieve a match between the long-term supply capabilities of an organization and the predicted level of the long-term demand. So when we say about matching the demand, the future demand with what we can do for them. So this is important to be able to match what it's needed from us in the next month or the next year. So also the capacity planning will help you to identify the gap between the current and desired capacity. And and this is what also the gap, it's called the gap capacity. And when we talk about the gap capacity or the over capacity or under capacity, this is basically the gap. The over capacity means you exceeded the need. So you're making more product than needed. And so therefore the operating cost is more expensive and too high. Under capacity means that not enough capacity to meet the demand. And this is where we say, this is, we can't meet the demand. We're not able to serve all the customers. Therefore, some customer will be unhappy with your service and then eventually will leave you and go to another competitor. When we plan for capacity, we need to ask three main questions: what, who, and when. What kind of capacity is needed? So what do we need actually? So what is the demand? And then how much is needed to match the demand? Okay, so what our capability, how much can we provide, and what is needed to match the demand. So we need to match the needed from us with what we can provide to our customer, and when is needed. Do we need it this month, this week, next week, whatever? So we need to define, again, ask these questions: what kind of capacity is needed, how much is needed, and when it is needed. Also, something you need to consider when you're talking about capacity is basically talking about how much it will cost and what is the potential benefit and risk. Benefit if we satisfy the demand, what are the risks that we could do if we maybe hire more people or buy more machines or invest in a facility, something like that. Is there any benefit or risk? So we need to keep that in mind and consider the benefit and risk as well. Also, we need to look into, are we able to sustain that, the produced products, or are we able to sustain this capacity for the long term? This is also important. It's not just only one thing, one time. It's maybe this capacity is needed for the next month and the month after, and so on. Should capacity be changed all at once or through several small changes? So sometimes you could just go ahead and do the full capacity, and sometimes you say, well, I'm going to go into small changes. In this way would be the best to handle capacity. I'm not going to just meet the demand right away. I'm just going to increase my capacity by 10% every month until I reach the full capacity and meet all the demand. Also, what we need to do, we need to consider other partners in the supply chain. Are they able to handle the chain? Because serving more customers or providing more service needs the support from your network, and the supply chain network has to support you as well on this demand. There's decisions that we should make when we do capacity planning, such as we do the capacity planning to meet the future demand. We need to manage operation costs, and so basically we need to ask, when we talked about the benefit and risk, are there any benefit from buying a new machine, or what's the risk of that? So we need to manage the operating cost or the operation cost. And number three is a long-term commitment for resources. So if you decided to expand, and then you have to have a long-term commitment of resources affect competitiveness. So if you are able to provide and serve more customer, that means maybe you will be sharing more market share, and this is make you more competitive in the market. Number five makes management easier because you are able to manage the demand, and you exactly know how to meet the demand based on the resources, the facility, the employees that you have. However, if there's a mismatch capacity, that might be harder to manage your organization or to manage your product line or their service. So it is important to do capacity planning to make these at least 5 decisions. So two capacity measures that we use here. That's one, it's called design capacity, and the other one is the effective capacity. The design capacity is the maximum output rate or service capacity an operation, process, or facility is designed for. So now this is basically, we designed a room to fit 100 people. However, in the effective capacity, it's not true. Maybe we haven't put some allowance. So we need to consider what actually will fit. Effective capacity, design capacity minus the allowance, such as personal time and maintenance. So effective capacity usually less than the design capacity, or could be more actually, you never know. So it's the design is on paper when you do like a CAD design, or you have a sketch on, you know, the facility that you have, how many boxes will fit, or your room, how many people will can fit, and so on. But the effective capacity is how many boxes will fit and how many people can sit in that room. So something that we should consider for measuring the capacity is looking into the input and the output. So for example, in the auto manufacturing business, we look into the labor hours as one of the inputs, and machines hours as well as another inputs. The output would be number of cars per shift. A steel mill would be the furnace size as an input. The output would be tons of steel per day. Oil refinery business, the input would be the refinery size. The output would be gallons of fuel per day, and so on. So this table would be helpful to look into what is the input for a business and what's the output. And this will also help you for considering the key performance indicators if you want to use them for the capacity. Going to the effective capacity and design capacity, we could calculate two measures. These are the efficiency and utilization. Efficiency basically based on the effective capacity. How efficient is your process? How efficient is the room that you design? How efficient is the facility that you created? And the utilization, how actually utilizing your facility. So efficiency based on the effective capacity, utilization based on the design capacity. So when we talk about efficiency, we divide the actual output by the effective capacity. However, the utilization based on the actual output based on divided by the design capacities. These are the two measures. Let's take an example, and then we'll move to the next topic on a different video, but that would be the end of the video here. Let's take a look into this example. We have a design capacity for 50 trucks per day. So we've designed a facility to have 50 trucks per day. However, the effective capacity, the facility only fits 40 trucks per day. And the actual output, when we actually used it, we found that there's only 36 capacity to be as an output to leave the facility. So efficiency is based on the actual capacity. So that would be 36 divided by effective capacity. So effective capacity is 40, 36 divided by 40. That will give you 90% efficiency in your warehouse. However, the utilization here would be actual output, which is 36 truck divided by design capacity, which is 50, 36 divided by 50, which is 72%. There are other factors that we should consider determine the effective capacity, such as the facility, the product, the process, the human factors, policy, operational, supply chain, and external factors. This is a good table that summarizes the effective capacity, why basically why we don't meet the design capacity. We designed for a specific to produce 1,000-unit pist for that line. However, based on the process, based on the environment, based on the layout, we were not able to produce 1,000 units. So we're not basically utilizing the facility. And these are the factors in this table that will help you to determine what would be what would control and determine the effective capacity. I'm going to stop the video right here. So thank you very much. And I will be meeting with you in another video on strategy formulation, what we could use to manage capacity. I'll see you in another video. Thank you.